Hey, what's up everyone? This is Greg Helbeck and welcome to this video. If you're watching on YouTube and you have not subscribed yet, if you could subscribe to my channel and like the video, if you obviously get value, it would mean a lot to me. If you're not familiar with who I am, I'm Greg Helbeck and I've bought and sold well over 100 houses in my 5.5 year real estate investing career. So I've learned a lot. And the goal of this video and all the videos I put out is to be very helpful and valuable. So hopefully you can take some lessons from these videos and you can apply them in your business so you can make more money and be more successful. So today I'm going to talk about a real estate deal that I closed with a good friend of mine, Frank Sanchez, and his company, SDF Capital. So this is 83 Marple Road Extension in Poughkeepsie, New York. Long story short, this lead ended up coming into my funnel like 4.5 years ago. One of the owners, it was in like this corporation, wanted to sell his vacant house and it was a complete disaster. And he was really unreasonable with his price and I made him an offer and he said no. And I ended up following up with this guy forever and he was just kind of like, it was just kind of like a waste of time. He was not reasonable. He was not being flexible on the price and I was like, forget about it. So anyway, what ended up happening was, I think unfortunately that person passed away, but the property was still owned in a corporation. So about a year ago, or maybe a little bit longer than a year ago, someone else who was involved in that corporation ended up calling me and said that he wanted to sell the property. And I said, well, I was speaking to the other guy, and he's like, unfortunately, he's not around anymore, so I'm dealing with the property now. And I said, okay, that sounds good. We ended up making him an offer, and something happened with the deal where it ended up going by the wayside. And then a friend of mine, Frank, got the same lead and they got it under contract and they were in contract to wholesale it. And there was a problem with the title. There was like a big violation issue and the town was being really complicated and the deal ended up dying. And the guy called me back and he said, hey, the deal with the other people didn't work out. Do you still want to buy the property? And I said, well, at the right number I would, but we got a lot of hair on this deal that we're going to have to comb over or else it's going to die. And he's like, well, I'm willing to be flexible because I have no other option. And I said, okay. So I made him an offer, I think of $75,000, which is ridiculously cheap for that area. But the house was like, it had like building violations and there was actually a notice to demolish the house. So if nothing happened, the town was going to literally bulldoze the house and then stick the owner with the bill and he would have had a lien on his property and on his name most likely. So ended up getting the property under contract and I actually sold it to the person Frank was going to sell it to because I knew he was going to want to buy it, especially at this lower price now. And I said, listen, if you buy this property at this price, you're going to have enough meat on the bone where you can take it to all the bullshit zoning boards and get it approved so you can develop it and make money. So he said yes. We had to get on a bunch of Zoom hearings with the town and go through the motions, and they needed all this paperwork from the attorneys. And there was a lot of hair on this thing. It was a complicated deal. And I was able to solve the problem because I know what I'm doing, especially with this kind of stuff. Like I just look at it like in a very methodical way, and every step, every problem has a few little sub-problems that when you check them off one by one and you just look at it one day at a time, it's really a solvable problem. You just got to have the patience for it. So fortunately, that's one of my specialties is title issues, and we ended up getting the whole deal resolved. And before we closed, I called Frank up because I'm a man of integrity. And I said, hey, Frank, I know you were working this deal and it didn't work out because there was that title issue. I just want to let you know I have it under contract right now and I'm selling it. And I want to give you half the profit because I know you were working the deal too. And he's like, man, that's really nice of you. I appreciate that. Let's do it. So we ended up splitting like a $50,000 wholesale fee down the middle, right? Half and half. So 25-25. And I didn't have to do that because it wasn't his deal anymore and he didn't have it under contract. The deal was up for grabs. And I decided I wanted to call Frank back and offer him half the profit. And he really appreciated that. And sometimes it's the right thing you got to do, right? I technically didn't need to do that. I could have made 50 grand, but I said, I'm going to play the long game. I'm going to share this deal with someone else who was working it because he had the same lead and we're good friends and, we get along. And, we do this on some other deals too, where we have the same lead. We'll partner up and we'll buy the house together and we'll split the profit. Your competition is not your competition. Your competition is your collaboration. So this one, Frank and I split $50,000 right down the middle. Buyer was happy as a clam. Seller was somewhat happy as a clam. Obviously, he probably wanted to get more money, but that wasn't an option here because of all the bullshit. So what are some lessons you can learn on this deal? Lesson number one is that a lot of deals are going to be follow-up. This lead came into my funnel over 4 years ago, and it monetized months ago. So if you're not following up with prospects, you're missing the boat. Number two, if you have complicated title issues, you got to just line them up and knock out one issue at a time, right? The more hairy the deal is, the more money you can make because most investors are going to shy away from that stuff because it requires effort, resistance, and your actual brain to get the thing solved. So If there's title issues and it's a workable deal and there's a big profit, it's worth dealing with them because you can make a lot of money. Lesson number 3, have integrity and do the right thing, right? I didn't have to do that with Frank. I could have just kept the deal myself. But because I'm in the relationship business, I'm in the let's do deals forever business, I called Frank and said, hey, I know you were working this deal and it didn't work out, and I'm selling it to the same buyer, and I want to give you half the profits. And he was happy as a clam about that, and we both won. We both made 25 grand, which is a lot of money. So hopefully you got value from this. If you're in the Hudson Valley and you want to do a deal like that with me, email me, greg@velocityhousebuyers.com. If you're in San Diego, I'd buy there too, so we can do it there. And if you're in Delaware, I buy there too. Congratulations. So we can do business there as well. So if you're in the San Diego area, the Hudson Valley, or in the state of Delaware, hit me up if you want to do a deal together. Email me, greg@velocityhousebuyers.com. If you got value from today's video, if you could subscribe to my channel and like the video, it would mean a lot. And I will see you on the next video. Take care.